If you had a 15-year-old daughter who claimed to be non-binary and wanted to go by them, they pronouns, how would you handle it? It's in some ways trickier. I was thinking, I think I said on air about this dad who responded to his daughter claiming to be trans by saying, "Hey, honey, so am I," and showing up at school bedecked in a gown and acting ridiculous. And the daughter got cured of that delusion right quick because her father embarrassed her so badly, which I think was just brilliant.
It's exceedingly good dad work, mom work in this case.
Yes, such good dad work.
Yep.
But the whole NB thing, the whole non-binary thing is, so trans is almost always in the modern day and age, especially in teenage girls, delusional. It's social contagion. But it's about becoming one thing from another thing, both of which are real. Mammals just can't do that. Non-binary and they, them pronouns, this is entirely social construct universe. There's no there. There's no thing that you can be like, oh, but like it's just a fantasy in every regard. Like I'm neither this nor that, but you are actually. So I don't have a good, like, what, I don't know.
I mean, the problem is you need the actual child in order to answer the question.
Yeah, there's not going to be a script. You can't script it. Yeah.
Right, you can't script it. I would say I would not indulge the pronoun thing at all, even if your kid is trans.
Well, in this case, it's not trans.
Yeah, non-binary. That just means your kid's not good at computer science. But
not funny.
Because computer science is binary.
Pretty fun.
I see.
It was pretty good. Once you get by the horrifying interpretation of the joke and you get to the mathematical, pretty funny. But I saw you briefly consider divorce, and then I saw you reject it, for which I'm grateful. But I wouldn't engage the pronoun thing at all. Right? The fact is, this is an authoritarian move, no matter what else might be true of your kid. The idea that you are going to force a change in language that is not that is a destruction of an actual information carrying aspect of speech doesn't make sense. It's not a kid's right to do that.
I guess this is probably not exactly the right move, but I have directed a few people who have people in their families who were playing around in this space. The piece that I wrote called "What Do Girls Do?" And the answer is girls become women. That's what girls do. And some girls play in the mud and drive trucks and do math, and some girls have tea parties for their bears. And in both cases they're girls and they become women because that's what girls do. So I do think a lot of the social contagion-y fashion stuff around trans and now non-binary is actually thinly veiled misogynistic, regressive gender stereotypes from earlier. So, what does it mean to you to be non-binary? Does it mean that you don't feel like you want to become a woman? Like this is an awkward moment? Like some of the trappings of womanhood are not what you're interested in doing? Okay, that's cool. You can do whatever you want. Men can do whatever they want in life. All the options are open, and same is true for women. If what you're telling me is that you don't like the changes your body is going through, well, that's puberty. That's adolescence, and some people have an easier time with it than others. But a lot of people, I think especially girls, although maybe that's just because that's what people talk about, but a lot of teenagers really struggle with the changes that their bodies go through as they effectively metamorphose, right? Like it would be easier if we had chrysalises, but that's not human, right? Like we need to continue to experience the world as we go from child to adult. And that teenager stage can be very, very confusing. And especially in a world that is celebrating non-binariness and transness and sending incredibly incoherent and confusing messages about what it is to be a man or a woman, then, it doesn't actually surprise me that this is sort of the newest fashionable thing. Oh, that's ridiculous, and so is that, and I don't want to do any of this, and I'm kind of not feeling like I want to be in the sexual landscape at all, so this is what I'm going to do. Like, well, but that's not actually a category. Like, I know your friends say it's a category, but it's not. Like, you are becoming a woman, and it's going to happen, and you can make of that any number of things. And it's going to be more productive and amazing for you if you don't obscure that behind some category that didn't even exist 10 years ago.
I would recommend that you, as a parent, listen to Jordan Peterson's most recent Joe Rogan appearance. He goes through a dissection of normal psychological changes that girls face and why that is fueling this particular fad. And I don't know whether a kid could hear it, but I do think as a parent that having heard it will leave you somewhat better armed to know what it is that you're confronting. And in fact, he talks about...
Well, but he only talks about trans, though. I mean, I agree. It's an excellent bit of analysis that he does, but this envy thing is different.
I'm not as compelled at that, because I think there's true trans, as we've talked about many times. Then there's trans activism, which does seem to me like it is escaping the same thing. And so I'm just not sure why the analysis of non-binary and trans would be different. It seems to me it's exactly the same psychological pathway that would lead you there, unless there was something very specific going on.
I'm not convinced, but still, I think he's a wise man, and those are wise words that he's got in that most recent Rogan appearance.